Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here are today's top stories. NATO celebrates its 75th anniversary with a summit in Washington, D.C. How are relations between the U.S. and NATO allies? California's lake fire in Santa Barbara County grows to over 20,000 acres, but containment is increasing as well. One organization is helping former inmates navigate challenges and re-enter society after years in prison. First up, NATO celebrates its 75th anniversary with a summit in Washington, D.C. What we can expect for this three-day summit and what the White House says about the alliance. President Biden is set for a busy 3 days during this week's summit. The White House was asked if he plans to reassure NATO allies that he is still up for the job.
I think the question presupposes the notion that they need to be reassured of American leadership and President Biden's commitment, and I don't believe that's the case. We're not picking up any signs of that from our allies at all, quite the contrary. The conversations that we're having with them in advance, they're excited about this summit, they're excited about the possibilities and the things that we're going to be doing together, specifically to help Ukraine.
He added that Biden has good relationships with NATO allies, saying the president invested in that throughout his term. German leader Olaf Scholz is among the many heads of state attending the summit. Scholz was asked about Biden.
Diese Sorge habe ich nicht.
I am not worried. I know from the many conversations I had with the American president that he prepared this summit very well and very precisely together with us.
Scholz added that he is sure that it will be a successful summit. NATO is holding the 75th annual meeting over the course of this week. It's the first time in 25 years that the summit is being held in D.C. The city has prepared to increase the security measures. Local officials advised the residents that there will be road closures, security checkpoints, and more. The Republican National Committee has unveiled a new policy platform backed by former President Trump. The draft platform, titled Make America Great Again, comes ahead of the Republican National Convention next week. The 16-page document includes plans to eliminate taxes on tips, making the U.S. a quote manufacturing superpower, and protect Social Security. It also proposes reducing the cost of housing, education, and health care. On national security, it advises strengthening the military and building a missile defense shield over the U.S., similar to Israel's Iron Dome. A section on the border suggests carrying out the largest deportation of illegal immigrants in American history. It also includes plans to pause funding for schools promoting critical race theory and gender ideology. The platform was first released in an email from the Trump campaign, followed by an announcement from the RNC. Turning our attention now to Hunter Biden, the president's son is withdrawing his motion for a new trial in the federal gun case. This came after government prosecutors said his motion was based on a misunderstanding of appellate practice. Lawyers for Hunter Biden had requested a new trial last month because they said a federal appeals court did not give the trial court a formal green light to proceed after dismissing his appeals. The first son was convicted last month on 3 counts related to lying about illegal drug use when he purchased the gun in 2018. Hunter Biden has denied wrongdoing. His lawyer has said he will appeal the conviction. In the manslaughter trial of actor Alec Baldwin, jury selection is set to begin in Santa Fe, New Mexico. A trial like this is unusual outside of major entertainment hubs like New York and L.A. The actor faces up to 18 months in prison. He's accused of firing the gun that killed the cinematographer and wounded the director of the Rust movie during rehearsal. Baldwin served as both actor and co-producer. Baldwin has said the gun fired accidentally after he followed instructions to point it towards the cinematographer, and that he was unaware it contained a live round. The judge and Baldwin's defense team expressed optimism that jury selection would move swiftly. The prosecution envisions a slower process. A 9-day trial is expected. A wildfire in Santa Barbara County has spread to over 20,000 acres, prompting evacuation warnings. NTD's Christina Corona gives us an update on the fire.
According to CAL FIRE, the lake fire has expanded to 26,176 acres and is 12% contained as of Tuesday morning. CAL FIRE's latest maps show the lake fire spreading from Zaca Lake in Los Padres National Forest. About 10 miles south lies Neverland Ranch, the former estate of Michael Jackson, which is now under evacuation orders due to the fire threat. The fire ignited near Zaca Lake shortly before 4 p.m. on Friday and expanded over the weekend. Officials expect the fire to continue spreading south and southeast, fueled by increased heat, wind, and dry grass. Evacuation orders cover the areas from Figueroa Mountain Road to Chamberlain Ranch and from Zaca Lake Road, Fox and Canyon Road to the Sisquoc River.
We have some cabins that are being protected by firefighters deep in this drainage back here with Type 1 heavy helicopters making some drops.
The updated work crews include 2,485 personnel, 11 helicopters, 189 engines, 62 dozers, 39 water tenders, and 70 crews. The cause of the lake fire is still under investigation. Christina Corona, NTD News.
Re-entering society after years in prison can be a real challenge for many women. Groups like Volunteers of America and Women to Women provide crucial support. NTD's Daniel Monahan spoke with the two organizations about how they help with the transition.
Angela King is the director of Volunteers of America, Texas. The organization has been helping former inmates for over 100 years. King says the will to change is crucial.
The first thing is a person saying, I need to do something different. Having that insight sometimes comes when a person is incarcerated for the first time. Sometimes it's the third or fourth time a person has gotten in trouble with the legal system that they kind of have that awakening.
Volunteers of America provides a trauma-informed curriculum to help those who are ready to make the leap.
And so you have folks who've already experienced trauma, perhaps been sexually abused or exploited or even trafficked as young children. And then they enter the prison system, they get re-traumatized. They often have children that they're separated from. So it focuses on helping people identify the trauma in their lives and realize how it's impacted their decision making.
King says breaking the cycle of abuse is essential.
That is such a huge issue for women, is a lack of confidence. And so then they re-enter relationships that are abusive or that, are just going to perpetuate that cycle that they've had for years in their lives. And so we really focus on breaking those cycles.
Another key service VOA Texas provides is helping women regain lost job certifications or acquiring new ones.
But oftentimes we are faced with folks who are really going out into employment for the first time as a sober person who can contribute to an employment situation. So we're trying to get folks into jobs that they have a career ladder and a career path. We train people as what we call patient care techs for hospital settings or long-term care settings.
Amy Ichikawa spent 5 years at the Central California Women's Facility in Chochilla. She and others founded the organization Women to Women to help former female inmates struggling to reintegrate into the free world. Ichikawa believes the support of others who have walked in your shoes is a big help.
There's just things that people who haven't been in prison don't understand. And you don't want to put pressure on your relationships and try and force people to understand because they can't understand something they didn't experience. And
she says that many women face intense anxiety returning home after decades in prison.
The workforce, trying to find places that you're going to be able to make a living wage is complicated. The anxiety of fitting in, having to buy regular clothes.
Many women experience delayed PTSD after being released from prison.
Everybody has that moment where, and it happens at different times for everyone, where you realize the world, kept turning while you were gone, and your place is not here anymore, and you have to kind of dig it out for yourself and create a new one.
Picking up the pieces to start a new life after prison is challenging, but organizations like Volunteers of America and Women to Women help people start off on the right foot. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Authorities are searching for those responsible for abandoning a dog who was found by a pair of hikers in the Malibu wilderness. NTD's Christina Corona reports on the story.
An investigation is ongoing after a dog was found in Malibu Creek Canyon with zip ties on its muzzle and neck. According to the LA County Department of Animal Care and Control, the dog was discovered by rock climbers last Wednesday evening. One of the climbers told KTLA they gained the dog's trust by removing the zip tie from its mouth. The dog warmed up to them and ate food from their hands. The LA County Sheriff's Department responded to the 911 call and met the climbers near the 500 block of North Malibu Canyon Road. The dog was about 250 feet down the side of the road. He was carried up the hill to safety with the help of first responders. The dog had inflammation, warts, and skin tags on its legs, stomach, and groin. And officials say he may have been exposed to poison oak. The dog was taken to Palmdale Animal Care Center for medical treatment and has since been moved to the county's Agora Animal Center. The Animal Care and Control website lists the dog as a German Shepherd and is estimated to be around 7 years old. The Animal Protection Organization In Defense of Animals is offering a $7,600 reward for tips leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the dog's abuse and abandonment. Anyone with information is urged to contact the LASD Malibu Lost Hill Station. Christina Corona, NTD News.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. How good is our posture? Are we in it for the long stretch? A wellness expert shares some rotational stretches to help in daily life. Ahead of National Kitten Day, animal shelters are urging people to adopt a foster if they can. NTD's 9th International Chinese Vocal Competition is coming to New York City this fall. More on the traditional vocal arts. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. In it for the long stretch, Daniela Deyoub-Forrest is a wellness coach and author of Own Your Wellness. Today, she showed NTD's David Lam some rotational exercises to help with daily life and more. Let's take a look.
Most of us need to open up our chests a lot. We spend all day forward, over our phones, over our computers, looking forward all day long, staring at our screens.
Daniela Deyoub-Forrest helps people reach their optimal health and fitness. She says there's good reason to stretch daily.
Well, you can imagine, like, as you know, even today, my shoulders are probably already too tight to begin with, but 20 years from now, I'm not stretching and I start to get into this position. Suddenly I've lost rotation, right? Because my spine is no longer on this beautiful axis, so I can look over my shoulder, check my blind spot, You start to get here and you have to turn your whole body to see what's going on behind you. So if the hips get too tight, people don't realize when we're walking, it's not just a forward movement. Your hips are rotating back and forth the whole time. If you lose that rotation, then you end up kind of doing the shuffling, right? Because you can't get that other foot all the way back around. So we really need it for all of our daily living.
And here are 3 exercises she shared with us.
While I'm opening up my chest, I'm getting a range of motion in my hips as well. And I want to focus on reaching my hand behind me with my thumb leading the way as far back as I can. But it's opening up the front of my hip here. As I'm coming down, I'm squeezing my back glute to help that open up. And you'll feel a nice stretch in the front of the hip.
This also incorporates some balance work too.
To stretch our inner thighs, we can again keep working different muscle groups. I'm gonna sit into this one heel really heavily so that I get my glute to fire.
With these exercises, be sure to switch to the other side as well.
Working out is not just to work out. It's not just to get fit. It's so that you can function better through your day, so that you can reach for the cereal box at the top of the cabinet, so that you can play with kids, so you can pick up your animals, so you can carry groceries, right? I think that it's really important, and I talk about this a lot in my book, Own Your Wellness, that we need to think about why we're trying to get in shape. Why do you want to exercise? Why is that important to you? Is it so that you can look good in a pair of jeans? Or is it because you want to be more present and available for your family so that you can play with your children and your grandchildren? What is the reason you want to function better? And that will help you find the motivation and the movements to do for your workouts.
Forrest and many fitness enthusiasts also plan to participate at the Jumping Jacks Challenge this Friday in Los Angeles to break the world record for largest simultaneous jumping jacks. It's also virtual, so people all over can jump in on the action.
Earlier when I was doing the torso stretch, my back actually cracked twice in a good way. So Daniela, thank you, and let me know if I'm doing them wrong or right. Reporting in Palo Alto, California, David Lamb, NTD News.
Looking for a feline friend? National Kitten Day is July 10th, and animal shelters are urging people to consider adopting a foster.
Ahead of National Kitten Day, caregivers at the Kitten Nursery of the ASPCA, or American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, care for tiny kittens. They are bottle-fed, brushed, and examined for their future adoptive home in New York.
I've never met anyone who doesn't love a kitten. They are absolutely adorable, precious, playful, curious, inquisitive. They are so much fun, our fosters. We call it a foster fortune when they adopt their foster kittens. But even just fostering kittens for a short amount of time makes a big impact and can help us take in more kittens. Oh my gosh.
Launched in 2014, the nursery is the city's first and largest high-volume kitten nursery dedicated to the care and treatment of neonatal kittens who are often too young to survive on their own and require frequent bottle feeding. Some of the kittens are as young as a week old.
Kittens are among the most vulnerable animal populations, and here at the ASPCA Kitten Nursery, we take in hundreds of kittens every kitten season. And kitten season lasts from April to November. So now's the time when shelters nationwide are seeing an increase in homeless cats and kittens. And by fostering a kitten or adopting a kitten, you're freeing up space in a shelter to take in and help more kittens.
The ASPCA has saved more than 23,000 of the most vulnerable kittens in New York and Los Angeles with the support of foster caregivers. Kittens under 8 weeks old are dropped off at the ASPCA Kitten Nursery, which can take up to 30 kittens at a time and takes in around 900 kittens the whole season. After completing an intake process, most of the kittens go out to foster caregivers right away. The kittens often require round-the-clock care, a resource many shelters don't have. Once the kittens are healthy, they go up for adoption at the ASPCA Adoption Center.
She came in with 5 other kittens. They were actually found in Queens by a Good Samaritan, and they've been spending time growing healthy and strong. She is a healthy kitten, now big enough to get spayed and then graduate to our adoption center, where she'll find a safe and loving home.
The public can learn more about fostering kittens for the ASPCA in New York City or Los Angeles by visiting aspca.org/foster or aspca.org/adopt to find cats and kittens available for adoption or from local shelters in their community.
NTD's 9th International Chinese Vocal Competition is coming to New York City this fall. It will showcase the world-class talent of Chinese vocalists from around the world. Here's more from one of the judges who tells us why promoting traditional vocal arts is so important.
NTD's 9th International Chinese Vocal Competition is coming to New York City this fall. The competition's mission is to promote traditional vocal arts of pure authenticity, goodness, and beauty, as well as to help talented Chinese singers from all over the world showcase their talents on the world stage. Soprano Tian Li with Shen Yun Performing Arts will be featured as a judge and gives the requirements she looks for in contestants.
We want to choose from contestants who are pure in heart and soul, and then present that on the stage to show the traditional Chinese style and culture within the hearts of the contestants.
In the past few centuries, music performed with bel canto technique has been dominated by songs in Western languages. However, NTD's Chinese vocal competition requires contestants to perform at least one Chinese song in the bel canto vocal style. Although challenging, it is a rare opportunity for Chinese musicians around the world to showcase their talent on a global stage.
When it comes to Chinese songs, there's Chinese spelling, pronunciation, rhyme. All of these aspects are involved. In fact, Italian has only 5 vowels, while Chinese has not only 5 vowels, but also many hard and soft consonants. So Chinese is not really easy to sing.
The judges emphasized that the real challenge lies in how to express the traditional Chinese sound in order to let the audience feel the emotions through the notes.
Chinese people express music more subtly, from the inside out, while Westerners express it more directly, so it's important to bring out that subtle feeling of Chinese culture. The environment in which you grow up in, including your inner moral character, personal culture and inner cultivation, can change your singing, including the sound of your voice and timbre will all be different.
The preliminaries will be held from September 18th to the 19th, and the semifinals and finals will be held from September 20th to the 21st at the Kaufman Music Center in New York City. The final round of the competition will be live streamed online and broadcast on television. NTD News, New York.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. A Chinese student pleads guilty to spying. Prosecutors said that he used a drone to snap photos of sensitive naval vessels still under construction. More on China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.